Our next guest is Amy Lazzara. She's the DAC chair at the Department of Industrial Relations. Amy began her state career in 2016 with Cal OSHA Region 3 Enforcement as a limited term management services technician. She moved to the Communications and Outreach program in 2017, where she promoted to AGPA in 2021. In her role, she has served as Cal OSHA's web liaison and helped coordinate multiple units and subprograms. Today, she works as an enforcement data management systems manager. Amy is also highly involved in workplace accessibility and related matters, serving as DAC chair of the DIR Disability Advisory Committee. Being a member of the DIR Safety Committee, she also assists with the DIR Accessibility Forum and is the current DIR subject matter expert in document accessibility. So I'm pleased to have Amy here to present today. Go ahead, Amy. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Hello, everybody. My name is Amy Lazzara, and I've been a speaker here once before. It was a few years ago, so thank you, Bobby and Alex, for having me back. Today, I'm going to go over just a few things. I want to say first that I was at the presentation for the DAC of the Year, and I was so happy to see everybody in person, and excited for those of you that won, and really excited also to see a lot of the things that we've done here at DIR for our DAC being used at some of the other DACs because they shared that. So that was really cool to see too. And here's to hoping that everybody gets to keep getting those awards and growing and improving our parities. So thank you again. And I'm going to share my presentation if I can remember how to share my screen. There we go. So the first thing that I want to mention is the statewide network meetings that we're going to be doing. I started this last year. We did our first one. It's a statewide DAC network. And in that first meeting, people had really asked for us to do these more regularly. And so this year we've started doing that. And then I'll just go through quickly some of the other points here on the agenda that you can see.
Well, Amy, can we pause really quick? We can't, or at least I can't see the presentation yet.
Oh, can you see
There
now?
we go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Now we can.
Let's switch. There we go. So I'll go through some of that, and then I'll go through again some of the things that I shared in the last network meeting that people were really responsive to. And hopefully you guys will find some usability and some applicability and be able to incorporate them as well. And I can share really good tools. So the statewide network, the first meeting that we had last year resulted in 74 attendees, 82 if you include the DIR staff that went, and 33 different departments. That included our department as well. The first quarterly meeting that we had this year so far had a total of 49 attendees, 53 with us, but it had far more departments participating this time than we did previously. And these really, I feel, are like a tool that is going to be very, very helpful, especially for committees that might be new or that might be rapidly expanding and, looking for some support, some help, some guidance, in addition to what the SDAC does, because you guys are also awesome. You guys helped me a lot when I started. So that's essentially what this is created for. It's to make sure that all the DACs throughout the state have mutual support and a resource pool for tools, and they can create events together, join events together. I know we plan on doing a few things and we would like to have other DACs participate. So it's a way for us to all come together, at least on a regular basis, to discuss these things, get questions hopefully answered, and really enable the DACs to become as active as possible with as much support as possible. So our next meeting for the DAC network will be June 25th. If you're interested in joining that meeting, you can send an email to us here at the DAC at dir.ca.gov, and we'll be more than happy to incorporate you. We've created DIR at least has created a distribution list for everybody that has told us they would like to participate when we're coordinating and facilitating. So we will be able to add you to that. So it'll come out to everyone at the same time. I am hopefully working with Alex on getting a larger network address that will be static created. So that's a topic that we'll be discussing as well in the future, and we're open to anyone and everyone that would like to come. If you're a DAC member, if you're not a DAC member, but you enjoy DAC activities and support those issues, you're still welcome to come. We need voices. We can't assist and advocate for people that we don't hear from. So that is open to everyone. And then we have our SharePoint that we created, and in response to our annual effectiveness survey, we created a workplace resource page that was created for our DAC SharePoint. And that was primarily because many of the respondents indicated that finding the unit or the form or the contact for disability-related topics was difficult within our intranet sites. So on our SharePoint, we created a new work resource section. And within that section, we have DIR workplace resources. And then we also link to the amazing DOR tools and resources as well. The DIR workplace resources page is broken up into categories and itemized with various bullet points for a cleaner, easier way to navigate the information. If the information that they're looking for is hyperlinked and it requires a connection to our network to access it, because we're really pointing people back to our intranet page that houses that information. It's just an easier way to find it. It's all in one spot. So if it's linked, we do let them know here at the top that they'll need that network connection. If it doesn't require a connection, we indicate that as well so that they know what they can utilize with and without being on the network or on a global VPN protect. So one of the big things that our department did when we provided them with an executive summary from our effectiveness survey of what DIR staff were saying they were having the difficulties with, we included our limited action plan, which is the steps that our DAC can take to assist in remediating or abating those issues. And then also what we can do to assist in expanding the areas that are working. And in response to the issues that were raised last year, our department created a complete HR office and phone listing PDF. And you can see that we both listed it back to the resource page, and we provided that directory as a PDF that they don't need any type of network connection to access. They just have to be signed in through their security portal. And the directory has a comprehensive list of contacts for all divisions in the department in relation to human resources areas. So things like returning to work, reasonable accommodations, workers' compensation, your personnel specialist, ergonomics, and our health and wellness unit and things along that line. Both the unit name, the contact name, their phone number and email address, and the division and or naming convention that they would be responsible for is provided on that directory. And that's something that we received from HR in response to that effectiveness survey. And people have found this really useful and they like it a lot when they can find it. So we did create it here as a downloadable PDF in addition to linking back to the webpage that it's housed on, because there's additional information that is vital there. In relation to our SharePoint, to ensure that we're meeting our government code requirements of 2/3 membership of individuals with disabilities, we created a roster. And in addition to that, we modified our membership interest form for an optional self-disclosure as a person with disability. They don't have to tell us what it is, just whether or not they have one, or if they don't want to share that, they can decline to state. But this allows us to identify how many of our members have identified as a person with a disability. And if they're not, or if they decline to state, then we count them as a person with interest, disability related issue interests. So on our roster, you can see up here at the top, I have a column that identifies PWD membership percentages, which is persons with disabilities, and then disability issue interests membership percentages. So right now we're at almost half for our PWD membership. And then we have those that decline to state that say they're not really interested in either, or they don't identify as either. They have other interest in becoming a member, whether it's community support, and this is a community that they've chosen to participate in, or what have you. We have a 6% membership rate of those parties. And the other thing that we have in our roster is the division or unit that our members are from, because my goal as the chair for our committee is to obtain a member from each of the divisions within DIR to ensure that we have representation of our workforce as a whole for the department. And I saw that a lot of the committees that were up at the award ceremonies were doing the same things. And that made me really happy to know that it's an idea that isn't just in my head, and that other departments have actually been able to fulfill. So it's not a pie in the sky hope for me. It's realistic. And for that reason, we do identify their division and their unit. And then we have special projects, and as they volunteer or petition to become either members or leads for those projects, we identify that here as well. And this is just really helpful too, because if at any time I'm out and I'm unable to lead a meeting, our vice chair, our treasurer, our secretary, our EEO officer, anybody can step in and look at who's involved with what to get updates and to coordinate or plan or check in with. So all of that is really to say that we do a lot of tracking, both for our membership and for our effectiveness. I think that having an effectiveness survey has really expanded our opportunity to become more effective. And each year we do a DAC effectiveness survey, and it's sent to everybody within the department-wide. And we keep it open for the entire month of September. We share it via email. We also post it in our digest, which is a bi-monthly publication that's distributed to everybody as well. And the survey itself has primary topics. It allows team members to give detailed explanations in a lot of areas if they wish to expand on that. And then separate from that, we review and revise it annually to make sure that it's still applicable, to see if there's anything that we need to change or modify, add, remove, and what have you. Subsequent to the survey is an executive summary that we create. So after it's closed, we take all of those results, we can create an analysis, and from that analysis, an executive summary is created. And with that executive summary, we create a limited action plan. And again, that's just what the DAC can do to complete abatement or execution of the survey points from the respondents. And those actions are, of course, only completed if approved by the director. So it gives our director an opportunity also to work with us directly and implement and help create the culture shift around what's necessary and what is being shared by the department as needs. And because I don't like to end things on a negative note, we have an area designated for them to ask us what is working, what do they want to see expanded, you know, because to just have people focus on the things that aren't working, that aren't okay, that they need fixed, is vital information. We definitely need that. But if there are specific offices or specific divisions or specific managers even that have certain practices or other tools or resources in place to support their staff, and they find those things beneficial, we want to encourage people to share that, and we want to make that available to everybody when possible. So we outline that at the end of our summary as well. This last year, we added one more question to our survey. The survey is 100% anonymous, so people don't have to identify themselves. We tend to get more honesty that way. But we do have an optional area where they can provide their name if they express interest in becoming a DAC member. This was a great recruitment tool for us last year. We've actually obtained 5 new members this year because of it. And what we did is we asked them if they were interested in becoming a member with the DAC or learning more about it. And when they said yes, a new window was opened that allowed them to share their contact information if they'd like to be contacted. If not, we also provide the contact information for us so that they can reach out if they prefer that. This resulted in 12 people last year indicating that they were interested. At the time I made the slide, it was 4. We actually have 5 as of today. And from those 5, one of them actually took in a vacant leadership position. So we have a new treasurer. So it was wildly successful for us. And it's something that I think we're going to be maintaining and implementing in our future surveys. I included an image of the survey that we have for you guys to see if you're interested in using some of it. And again, all the information is confidential. It's roughly 2 to 5 minutes to complete, so it's not going to take a lot of time. People tend to participate at a higher rate when it's not lengthy. We have areas like access to services. We have understanding of your rights, knowledge of the tools for disabled team members. We do refer to them as frequently possible as team members and not staff, to also create more of an inclusive and equality-based language. So that was really vital when we were looking at the language for our summaries and our surveys. Accessibility. Accessibility has been a challenge within our department, document accessibility specifically. With returning to office, we want to make sure that we have physical accessibility to office spaces addressed as well. So those are the primary topic areas, and within those topic areas, we have subsets of questions for them to provide responses to. And again, you can we've allowed them to provide additional expansive input beyond just a yes or no from what we want, because I know I take a lot of surveys and half of the time what I actually want to share isn't listed anywhere in there. So to make sure that people actually feel like they have a voice and they get to contribute what is actually concerning and working for them and to them, we give them that space here at the end. And at the bottom of the survey, again, is the question about the DAC membership. And when they select yes, then a new window pops up that tells them this is still voluntary information and it will only be used in relation to establishing membership for the DAC. And it's not going to be disclosed to management by the DAC because their responses can be identified if they leave this information. So we do put the language in there that ensures they understand it's not going to be provided to management. The DAC is only asking for it in relation to contacting them for membership. And it is still optional. And they have a space to enter their name and their email address if they would like to be contacted about becoming a member. And this worked well for us last year. To maintain visibility, we have a number of activities that we do on a regular basis. Every January, we do sit with our EEO to create our calendar for the year. And we do that in partnership with our diversity and inclusion committees so that if there are opportunities for joint events, we can do that because you can't have diversity and inclusion without disability. So to make sure that we maintain that intersectionality as an understanding and fundamental piece for diversity and inclusion, we do plan and participate in joint events as frequently as possible. We have a lot of mutual support there. So we do lunch and learns. Those educate people. We have them hybrid, so we'll do them both in person and people can participate virtually if they're unable to be there in person. We also hold regular luncheons as recruitment events. And in our luncheons, those are typically either potluck or sponsored pizzas, salads, so forth. And we use those opportunities because people come for food. People love food. So we get to meet people. They get to learn about us. In our luncheons, we have a trifold brochure that we've created that we distribute. And we do fundraising. We have bake sales and things along those lines so that, we have a means for providing for bigger events in the future, because our funding is limited when it comes to meals and refreshments, unfortunately. It is what it is. But we do have them on a regular basis and to ensure as much equal access as possible, we do them through various regions in the state. We've already held one. I believe we had our first one in Sacramento. We had another one in Van Nuys. We had one in Santa Ana. And I believe our next one is going to be in San Diego. We plan on going to Fresno as well. So we're making sure that throughout the state, we're at our various state buildings and offices so that those that either can't travel or have travel restrictions still have an opportunity to participate in person at some point or another. Our department has a lot of activity that happens primarily in Sacramento and Oakland, and down in Southern California and Central California, we're kind of left out a lot when it comes to in-person participation. And I wanted to kind of mitigate that with our activities. So for that reason, we do rotate where those are held. Last year, we also kicked off what we call our season of giving. And it was amazing last year. We partnered with again, our diversity committee. And for the entire month of December, we did, as the DAC, a food drive that covered the entire state. We had donation locations we had 3 locations actually in Sacramento. We had Oakland, Fresno, Van Nuys, Long Beach, Los Angeles, Santa Ana, Orange County area, San Bernardino, Riverside, San Diego, and I also forgot to list in there San Francisco. So all of those locations had at least one or more food drives that we partnered on local food banks with. Our members local to those offices actually participated through working with those and identifying those organizations. We had a couple churches as well. And in the locations that had our food drives, our diversity committee had their Toys for Tot drive at the same time. So all of those locations, with the exception of, I want to say 3, they had a box for food and a box for toys in the same location for the entire month. This year, we will be doing it we're going to be starting in November and going through December 19th, right before Christmas, so that hopefully we can have a larger result and be able to assist through Thanksgiving and Christmas and holidays and winters and a time of year where it gets a little bit harder for a lot of families and a lot of people. Mobility gets harder. Work right now with the economy is difficult. So we tried to maximize it this year. And that's something that we're going to be interested in partnering with other committees with as well. To also change it up a little bit this year, instead of doing a food drive, our DAC will be doing clothing, blankets, jackets, things that fall within that realm to, help multiple agencies and not necessarily just go back to one food bank or one organization on a regular basis, to really create more opportunity for people that can maybe empty out their closets and donate things, but they couldn't have given food last year because they were tight in that area. So the Toys for Tots, I don't know if the other committee will be doing that. I think they're going to be doing, it's through the fire departments. I want to say, I can't remember what it's called, but they're using a different organization this year. The coordination was really difficult for that many locations, and we really want to cover the whole state again. And then additionally, I want to promote that culture of inclusion, and part of the difficulty with our department is information accessibility, primarily with documents, video recordings, audio recordings, and things along those lines. And as a subject matter expert, I worked with our training unit, and I did a 3-day document accessibility training for the department. And in addition to providing the training to all of the team members, anybody and everybody that wanted to participate, they were recorded, and the materials and the recordings were also then subsequently put online through our learning management system, so that anybody who was unable to attend for any reason or another, or perhaps they're new, they can go online, go through our LMS, and they can register, complete the course at a self-pace, and then get a certificate of completion afterwards. And that was a very large project that we had a lot of success with as well. And it helped clear things up, and it helps us come into a higher percentage of compliance for our document accessibility in relation to public facing contents. And it's shifting the culture about the need for accessible content on our intranet pages, because our department had primarily focused the need only for public facing content. And so through these types of trainings, I've been able to educate a lot of managers, in addition to rank and file team members, about the applicability across technology, regardless of public or private facing, specific to laws, not just as a preference, but in relation to legality. And it really, I think it's expanded people's understanding. It's opened up a culture that looks at content creation and information differently, and has really been successful and sought after. It's something I can't do every year, but we're looking at doing it maybe every 2 years, 3 years or so, just to make sure that the requirements that make it revised or brought about or added get incorporated, and continued education happens department wide. In addition to that, we have joint opportunities. And this is again to maintain visibility, because nobody wants to join a group of people who are just going to have another meeting. I feel like being active and being visible and doing things beyond just your regular meetings and discussions. Regular meetings are very vital, they're very important. But they don't necessarily encourage people to participate at the level that we need to make effective change. And effective change also requires action. So one of the things that we're going to be doing later this year and probably early next year is looking at conducting what we're going to call a neighbors market. And again, because economic times are difficult for a lot of people right now, unfortunately, there's been a lot of layoffs and changes in hiring practices. So even if you necessarily didn't have a job, getting one may be even more difficult for people now. Our neighbor market is intended to be somewhat of a farmer's market and fundraising opportunity. A lot of our team members, myself included, have a lot of produce that we grow in our yards. I have pears, peaches, nectarines, lemons, kumquats, persimmons, figs, and pomegranates just in my yard. I have a lot of those trees. I have other members that have avocado trees. We have another member, their family owns a restaurant, and a lot of the produce that they order that doesn't get used, or that comes in bulk that is too much for what they actually need, instead of wasting it, or as an alternative to donating it to food bank, we want to create a farmers type market set up where anybody within that building can come down for the 3 hours that we're there, and for whatever they can donate, or if they can't even donate, if they can't donate anything at all, but they need the food, take what you need. Take what you need, leave what you can. It's going to help me keep my yard cleaner. It's going to help feed our community, and it's going to help support each other when we need it most. And I think it's a great way for us to meet other DACs and coworkers. And it's something that I'm excited to start next year. We're going to talk about planning that at the end of this year, but that's an event that we would like to coordinate, if possible, with other DACs. I know in the building I'm at, we have other state agencies. A lot of our buildings that we wanted to do these at will have other state agencies. So the more the merrier. That's something that we'll be discussing. And then in addition to that, we would like to open up our meetings. Instead of meeting to discuss business every single month, we'd like to alternate and have at least 1 to 2 of our meetings each quarter with a guest speaker and a specific topic. And that topic can be related to a program within your department. It could be related to a community organization that you work with, or that you volunteer with, or that you'd like to raise awareness about. It's really anything surrounding the disability community and activities that we can share tools, resources that we can provide, and education that we can give is what we're wanting to foster. And the best way to do that is opening up your doors and inviting your neighbors in to your house. Sit down and share what you have with each other. And I think that's really important right now. So we're looking for events that we can jointly conduct, and for other DACs and or random team members of other departments even in charge of programs or aware of programs that would benefit the disability community to join our meetings as special guest speakers. With or without presentations, you can come and just talk. So that's what we plan for in the future. And again, closing, our next network meeting for the DAC as a statewide network will be June 25th. We have it scheduled right now for 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. We will be planning our in-person hybrid virtual event for July. In that meeting, in addition to the other topics that have been provided from other members, and the agenda and link and information for joining that will be sent out by tomorrow at the latest. So if you're interested in joining that, please give us an email or leave a comment or raise your hand and just let us know. Our email address again is dac@dir.ca.gov. My name is Amy Lazzara. If you ever meet me in the wild, I have white hair. I know people like to call it platinum blonde, but I used to be a really chestnut brown brunette. So I have long white hair, black glasses, and I tend to wear sweaters because they're comfortable. So if you see me, please come say hello. And that's all I've got for today. Thank you for the opportunity to share my information and hopefully obtain some new network members and some partnership opportunities.
All right, thank you, Amy. Great presentation. Lots of info. I appreciate also all the information you provided about how your DAC provides surveys to its own membership. I think that information is really helpful, and I think I picked up some information that I could pass on to my DAC as well. I do have some questions. So with regards to your DAC, how often does the DAC advertise or otherwise attempt to obtain new members?
Oh, so right now we advertise in our digest at least once a quarter. So we have specific topics that our members volunteer pieces for. So by example, this year we did a piece on PTSD for June. We're doing one for the 88th anniversary in July. We did one on Cushing's disease in I want to say it was April or March, and then we followed that up with two guest speakers actually in our meeting from Nord. And so, you know, September we do huge pieces usually for Deaf Awareness Month. I feel like that's really important to bring about to let people know that it's not something most people think about very frequently, but it's something that you encounter more often than you realize because you can't see that disability, you know. We did a piece for Autism Awareness Month last year, and we do virtual events for Indium every year in October. So we do a lot of advertisement. It's not necessarily regularly scheduled throughout the year, but we do make sure that we have something in the digest at least once a quarter. And then our regular meetings are posted online, and we send an email out for that too, to encourage people to attend, even as, you know, just guest attendees. They don't necessarily need to be a member. And to that end, we have an appreciation ceremony at the end of each year that I started. This will be our third one in December. And it's we recognize not only the leadership roles, but the membership and those that come to support us who can't be members. Because not everybody gets the support from their manager. Not everybody has the ability to dedicate the time and resources that's required. But they still want to help when they can. So they come to the meetings that they can come to, and they share networks, they share contacts, they share a lot of information with us that help in doing the activities that we're doing and the relationships we're building, even though they're not a member. And I think they deserve to be recognized and thanked. And then the managers that do support their team through travel, through time during the regular working day, not just giving them overtime, but letting them set aside time in their regular days and promoting the involvement. We like to recognize and say thank you to them as well. And I think that's important to do. I think when people feel valued and recognized, they tend to stay. So we do that every year, and that's also virtual and that's just so that anybody who again can't come in person can still participate. And if you're not necessarily participating yet, but you want to check that out because that looks cool, what do they do? You can do that as well. We keep everything we do open to anyone and everyone every time we're active.
Thank you. I do have another question related to another part that you mentioned during a presentation. That was with regards to communications with other DACs. So you and I have talked about communications and better ways to contact all DACs with minimal bandwidth and a goal of down the line to have very minimal changes to email address recipients, just because a lot of us have limited bandwidth to maintain such a list of DACs. Will you be discussing this at your upcoming DIR meeting that's open to all DACs?
Yes. So,
Amy, this is Bobby here. I just want to interject quickly. Please keep your answer real short.
Yep.
After this, we have one more speaker. And a lot of questions. You did a wonderful job of presenting how to have an effective DAC. And you can probably give a course on this. But what I'm going to do is to funnel all those questions to you, get your answers, and distribute that to the group because of the economy of time. That's okay with you.
Yeah, that's thank you. That's wonderful for you to do. Thank you very much for that.
My apologies for the interruption. Please go ahead.
No, that's okay. Yes, so that is an agenda item. I actually have you and myself. I outlined as the speaker for that. We will be addressing that in the meeting on the 25th.
Okay, thank you. And I think, Bobby, just to that point, I appreciate that. I think that would be useful to have such a list for such occasions, such as today, where we have a lot of questions, and we could just funnel those questions and answers to the DACs directly.
I agree.
Thank you, Amy. Again, very informative, very helpful for all the DACs. So
thank you all very much for having me, and I look forward to growing our DAC network.
you're doing a wonderful job. Keep up the good work.
Agreed. Thank you, Amy.